es hat einen leichten Wind. Wie ist es dazu gekommen, dass Sie jetzt starten können? Hier geht's los mit dem ersten Pool. So, die zwei Teams sind gestartet. Der erste Punkt ist am Laufen. Die weißen Berner haben jetzt entschieden, sie müssen Sorge haben, für dass sie schon mit einem leichten Gegenwind können schauen, ob sie es schaffen, die Scheibe in der gegnerischen Endzone zu fassen. Ja, und da haben wir schon den ersten Punkt. Ein schöner Overhead auf Basel geworfen von Leroux Stauffer.
Mike, du hast mich vorhin noch angesprochen, darauf, wie das zustande ist, dass Freespeed Basel von links mit Wind anwerfen konnte. Der Grund ist ganz einfach, sie haben vermutlich den Flip gewonnen, das heisst die Auslosung, wer darf am Anfang die Seite wählen und wer darf in die Offense starten. Und sie haben sich für die Variante mit Wind entschieden. In diesem Fall hier hat Langenhaus Bern ihren Punkt souverän durchgespielt, hat also keine Rolle gespielt. Je nachdem wie fest der Wind bläst, kann das durchaus ein Faktor sein.
Super, und entsprechend sehen wir jetzt noch für alle blutigen Ultimate-Zuschauer, die das zuerst mal jetzt hier so erleben, die Mannschaft, die die Scheibe hat, mit einem Catch in der Endzone können zu einem Punkt bringen, darf dann wieder anwerfen. Das sehen wir jetzt, die Scheibe ist in der Luft. Die Roten nehmen die Scheibe aus der Luft oder vom Boden auf und versuchen jetzt wieder in der gegnerischen Endzone ihrerseits den Punkt zu machen.
Und das ist Freespeed Basel mit dem ersten Punkt.
Jaro, Daniel, schöne Voll!
Das ist ein Catch von Domelia der Matt. Eine lange Scheibe. Sie ist ein bisschen schräg angekommen, aber durch seinen Schnelllauf hat er die noch in der Endzone fassen. Momentan geht Flying Angels Bern 2:1 in Führung.
Du hast angesprochen, Mike, der Punkt ist zustande durch einen langen Pass. Der ist ermöglicht worden, weil die Defense von Freespeed umgestellt hat von einer Raumdeckung zu einer Manndeckung. In dem Moment haben sie die Chance können nutzen und einen langen Pass spielen. Allgemein kann man vielleicht sagen, dass das einer der heikelsten Momente ist, wenn man so eine Zonendeckung auflöst zu einer Manndeckung, dass die Orientierung dort stimmt, jeder seinen Mann hat. Mein Eindruck hier war, dass Flying Angels Bern die Situation relativ schnell erkennt und gut hat können nutzen mit einem langen Pass.
Da sieht man den Wind, es ist ein leichter, man könnte schon fast sagen Thermikwind hier auf der heißen Almend. Er hat die Scheibe hinten rausgedreht. Wenn die Scheibe hinten raus vom Spielfeld geht, dann kann der Läufer entscheiden, er kommt jetzt vorne auf den Breakpoint. Das ist eine spezielle Markierung auf dem Rasen und von dort darf er anfangen zu spielen, also er kann sich dort einen Vorteil rausholen, indem er weiter ins Feld darf kommen.
Das ist das 2:2, Freespeed Basel scoret in der Endzone. Wiederum auf die gleiche Seite, ihr habt es vielleicht festgestellt, bis jetzt haben alle Punkte auf der linken Seite von uns ausgegeben, vom Speakerpult. Das bedeutet schlicht und einfach, dass es bis jetzt noch kein einziges Break gegeben. Das würde bedeuten, dass ein Team den Punkt kann schreiben kann, obwohl sie aus der Defense gestartet sind.
Beim Freespeed ist es ja so, dass die Mannschaft, die anwirft, nachher sofort in die Verteidigung geht. Und speziell wichtig ist zu wissen, dass die Verteidigung wird schon nur durch den Bodenschlag von der Scheibe, die in der Luft ist, eine erfolgreiche Verteidigung machen. Wenn also das Offender-Team die Scheibe abwirft, die Scheibe geht den Boden oder sie wird im Out gefasst, dann gehört sie nachfolgend der Mannschaft, die die Scheibe nicht abgeworfen hat. Das ist wirklich entscheidend anders als in ganz manchen Ballsportarten.
Schöne Tiro, weiterschaffen so! Weiterschaffen, Rot, alle! Aktiv!
Pico haben wir vorher gehört, besser gesagt gesehen, das ist eine der häufigsten Spielunterbrechungen auf dem Feld. Das bedeutet schlicht und einfach, dass der Defender, der Verteidiger, seinen Mann nicht genug nachrennen weil von anderen Spielern auf dem Feld an diesem Laufweg ist behindert worden.
Merci.
der Turnover. Flying Angels Bern ist wieder in Schieberbesitz.
Es ist schaffen, Mann! Achtung, Training, gut schauen da! Halbe Meter mehr noch, halbe Meter!
Kaputte Scheibe. Wird natürlich sofort ausgewechselt.
Training, ich sag das, wenn er hinten schaut.
Ultimate-Scheiben sind übrigens standardisiert. Alle Spieltage. Wiegen genau 175 Gramm.
Ricky! Das soll er gehen, so viel er will! Hey, sehr gut! Lernt ihr schaffen! Lernt ihr schaffen!
Alkohol.
Geile Frau! Schaffen!
Und Langpass. Das bisschen zu lang. Das ist eine gute Chance für den ersten Break von diesem Spiel. Freespeed Basel hat die Chance verpasst. Damit ist Bern wieder in Scheibenbesitz und kann das Spiel Gegenwind aus der Endzone raus neu aufbauen.
Test, Test, Test. Test, Test, Test.
Ja, und der Punkt, der ist kräfterogen. Der ist kräfterogen. Wir haben schon mehrere Turns gesehen. Und auch wenn es jetzt einen kleinen Unterbruch gegeben ist es weder der Berner noch der Basler erlaubt, irgendeinen Spieler zu wechseln. Die 7 Leute, die am Start während dem Pull auf der Linie stehen, die müssen auf dem Feld bleiben und kämpfen und bleiben, bis der nächste Punkt wieder für die eine oder die andere Mannschaft geschrieben wird. Umso wichtiger sind solche lange Punkte. Wer kann jetzt diesen Punkt schreiben? Schon wieder haben wir einen Turn, schon wieder geht es in die andere Richtung.
So, hello and welcome to the Open Finals of the Swiss Ultimate Championships here in Bern. We have Fab versus Freespeed. Apologies for the bit of technical delay. And Freespeed gets the first break of the game to take it to 3-2 in what was a long and contested point. So commentating here, I am Jake Simon. I play for the Fly High Lausanne team.
And I'm Caroline Saul. I play with Zuf.
and we'll be your commentators for this game today. So, looks like there was a timeout called on the field, probably by Fab, I think, since they just got broken, but I'm not 100% sure. The game so far has been very tight, with a lot of very closely guarded cuts and a lot of really, really tight defense. Fab tried to play a zone defense on one point, and it worked out all right, but it was nothing really special. And they're looking to come out again, now going downwind on offense. With the wind is a little bit swirling, but mostly going from the left to the right on your screen. And Freespeed with a big upwind blading pull that Fab will field right around the brick mark.
It looks like they've come out with a zone.
And Fab will just be content to dump and swing it until they find an opportunity to break it through the zone. And a big huck going up to Kiwi, number 9, Sebastian Glor, also known as Kiwi, who is one of the strongest players on this Fab team, has represented Switzerland on multiple levels internationally, on the national team in London and at the national team at Beach Worlds in Royan last year in France. So that makes the score 3-3, with Freespeed still being up one break.
This is at least the 13th time that these two teams have met in the Swiss Championship finals. Fab has taken 9 of those meetings. Wait, no. Sorry.
Yeah, 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9.
And with Freespeed taking 4. Since 2003, the only time this hasn't been the finals matchup was 2 times in the early 2000s when Crazy Dogs met Fab in the finals.
Both of these teams are going to the World Ultimate Club Championships later this year in Cincinnati, and so they're looking to use this as a warm-up for World Championships and further down the road European Championships as well. So number 28, Luca Miglioretto for Freespeed, picked up the disc to number 60, Oliver Gaugler. And looks like they're just running a little bit of handler movement and a vert stack, looking to kind of be patient and calm with the disc. And a big around break to number 60, who gets it back to 77. And these handlers right now are just really happy to dump and swing it amongst themselves. Now there's a pick called in the end zone. And number 6, Tobias van Barsen with the disc to Dennis. And the score from who? Robin Brudeling.
From Paradola.
To make the score 4-3 for Freespeed.
Robin Brudeling met het circa. Basel hat hier versucht, ein bisschen anders zum Punkt zu kommen. Kann natürlich auch mit der Defense zusammenhängen, die Bern hat versucht anzuwenden. Es waren sehr viele kurze Pässe, wo die Händler die Spielerpositionen probiert, das Spiel selber aufzubauen mit kurzen Pässen. Händler sind die Spieler auf dem Feld, die für den Spielaufbau verantwortlich sind. Das heisst, eher hinter und um die Scheibe herum agieren, während auf der anderen Seite die zweite Grundposition, die wir im Ultimate oft spielen.
So as Freespeed gets set to pull, just a heads up, later on we will also have Zuf and Flying Angels Bern in the women's final.
Starting at 4 p.m.
Starting at 4 p.m.
Both of these teams will also be representing Switzerland at the World Ultimate Club Championships in Cincinnati.
And a big pole floats up in the wind a little bit too much and goes out of bounds. Fab will take it at the brick mark. With number 29, Lauren Stauffer, picking up the disc. One of Fab's most experienced handlers. And he immediately gives it to 17, Tori Harms. Back to 37, Jan Tenger. Up to Stauffer again, with a foul called on the catch, uncontested. Break throw to Severis. Back to Jan Tenger.
Lyko, kannst du mir kurz erklären, wie das genau geht? Also normalerweise hat doch
down to Domaini Odermatt. And back to Tenger. Big OI throw to Seviglur, number 9, who looks like he managed to stay in bounds, but there might have been a call on the play.
Flying Angels Bern hat die Scheibe in der Endzone gefasst oder auch nicht. Das ist genau der Punkt, wo jetzt diskutiert wird.
And some discussion from the players on the field, while some Freespeed players are signaling goal. And goal is called. 4-4. Both of these teams are known throughout Europe for their intensity and their ability to play very tight physical defense. So we'll see if that plays out today. Normally in their matchups, they have been very intense and very hard-fought battles.
Yeah, we've only seen them play each other once so far this year. That was at the first round of the SM, and that game went to Universe, 14-14, with Fab taking it in the end. So it should be a pretty hot game today.
Halten sich an die Spirit of the Game-Regeln, die beinhaltet, für das man niemals absichtlich irgendeinen von diesen Regelpunkten missachten.
So Fab with a big upwind pull again that it looks like it's going to go out of bounds. Some notable results for Fab this year: they won Sky Bowl Winter Tour, and they also won This Days Cologne earlier this season as a warm-up for the World Championships later in July. And Miglioretto with the disc at the brick point, who gives it to 77, David Moser. Reset through Moser again, back to Dennis Hutz, and a pick is called.
Das Zeichen nur, dass das nochmal wisst, mit beiden Armen in die Luft, rechtswinklig, in den Ellbogen, das ist das Zeichen für Pick.
Hutz with the disc, with Nino on the mark. And a big swing over to Miglioretto. And a D from Fab. Fab now with the disc, number 56, Johannes Suter with the D. Foul called on the play. And it looks like it will be uncontested. Nino Afrini with the disc. And it looks like there was some contact on one of the cuts. Fab player on the ground. So Fab will be looking oh, excuse me. Fab will be looking to get a quick reset here to try and get the disc in the middle of the field. And Badiswil with the disc, who hucks it, a big upwind flick huck into the end zone for number 28, Mark Mosiman. From number 96, Thomas Badiswil. Badi, another one of the most experienced, longest tenured players on this Fab roster. And Fab breaks back, making the score 5-4, putting the game back on serve. So that was a big point from the Fab D-line, now forcing Freespeed to go upwind on offense again. So Freespeed in their warm-ups for World Championships this year have placed 4th at Tom's Tourney in Belgium and 6th at Windmill in Amsterdam. Both tournaments fielding an international array of teams and really high-level competition. Clapham from London won Windmill this year, and Freesbees from Belgium, from Bruges, won their home tournament at Tom's Tourney.
Yeah, and Freespeed lost their semi-final at Tom's just by 1 point. They got broken on the final point, I believe, so it was really close to them making it into the finals there.
And who were they playing?
In that game, I believe it was Chevron Action Flash. I could be mistaken.
Chevron Action Flash, another top team from the UK, also going to Worlds. Oh, and a turn on a miscue from Freespeed in their handler reset as Seb Glur goes to pick up the disc with Christoph Windler as his reset. Getting the disc to Windler, who looks upfield and looks then, looks back to his dump, but Glur just slipped, it looked like. Foul called on the play. And the disc floating up a little bit and a turn from Fab. This Fab D-line trying to hold possession for every disc that they get, knowing turns from this Freespeed O-line are rare. And Dennis Hutz with the disc again, swinging to number 6, Tobias van Barsen, who gets it back again. Playing give and go a little bit within this handler set with number 77, David Moser. And again, Miglioretto with the disc right by the end zone. Dumping and swinging to 91, Dennis Hutz, who looks to his cutters. And again, a really quick give and go for a nice layout score from number 77, David Moser, with a really beautiful layout to save the pass that floated just a little bit too far.
Genau, wie jetzt circa ein wunderschöner Catch am Schluss von einem Punkt, wo Freespeed nach einigen Turnover, was er gegeben in der Mitte vom Feld.
And Freespeed calling a timeout on the field.
Das heisst, beide Teams bekommen 2 Minuten Zeit, durchzustufen, Taktik zu besprechen, Anpassungen.
Something notable about this day's Cologne is that the Fab men and Fabulous women both won on their respective finals. So it was a Swiss-dominated tournament.
The field at disc days wasn't as strong, with only a few other Worlds teams going. in the men's division, but Fab took to the final 15-14 over Schwaben and had to beat Frisbee Family, one of the men's teams from Germany, along the way.
Das Timeout dauert immer 2 Minuten. Pro Halbzeit hat jedes Team zweimal die Möglichkeit. Also somit könnte das eigentlich auch sehr viel Timeouts pro Halbzeit geben. 4 Timeouts, wenn alle würden genutzt werden. Das ist nicht immer der Fall. Hier bei diesen Teams ist es so, für das sehr viele Spieler da sind. Beide Teams sind mit über 20 Spielern da. Also ist ein bisschen vergleichbar wie ein Eishockey-Team. Und wenn die Belastung würde verglichen werden, könnte man es wahrscheinlich sehr gut auch mit einem Eishockey.
So if you are joining us and you haven't played Frisbee before, it is a non-contact sport where you have 10 seconds with the disc in your hands. You can't run with it, and the goal is to score in an end zone like in rugby or in American football. Generally, teams on defense will try to force throwers to only throw to one half of the field, while teams on offense will try to be making the most of the space that the defense gives them and the space that the defense doesn't give them. And Freespeed getting ready to go downwind with the pull and a big inside-out floating pull that's going to blade very deep into Fab's end zone. And Fab running a very strong side stack pull play to get open on the first cut. And Mosiman with the disc, who resets it easily to Seb Glur. Easily back to number 17, Tore, to 37, Jan Tenger. And a pick called on the field. Tenger with the disc as Freespeed gets ready to check it back into play. Tenger looking for a reset, and he gets it to Glur, who then swings it to Tore, one of the coaches of this Fab team. Up to Domeni, back to Lauren Stauffer. And it looks like there's another call on the play.
Defender von Basel sind nah dran, sie geben viel Druck.
And a little discussion between Lawrence Stauffer, number 29, and his mark.
Wie ihr sicher schon gemerkt habt, der die Scheibe hat,
I thought it was a pick call at first, but they seem to be discussing where the stall count's going to come back in.
And the disc comes back in, and almost a drop from Jan Tenger, but he easily recovers, giving it up to Severis, number 14, who's another coach along with Tore. Number 29, Lawrence Stauffer, again with the disc on this close sideline. And Fab will be really wanting to get the disc across the field. There we go. To number 9, Seb Glur. And a nice around break up into the end zone for number 17, Tore Harms. Tore doing a lot of good work for Fab on that point. He's showing why he's the coach of that team.
So the wind is also shifted. It's no longer a upwind, downwind. It's definitely like a pretty hard crosswind at this point.
Yeah, it's definitely a crosswind coming towards the camera that the players are going to have to adjust to and deal with.
But Fab had a really nice, or several cross-field into the wind swings at that point.
Yeah, their swings were really great. Not really floating that much at all, and not really leaving the defense any time to try to make a play on them. So their fab handlers are very, very skilled and are trying to show that in this wind. And Fab D-line gets set to pull from Thomas Bariswil. And a big outside-in pull. Trying to take a little advantage of the wind, but it looks like it went out of bounds. So if the starting throw or the pull goes directly out of bounds, then the offense has the opportunity to take it at the brick mark, which is 18 meters up the field from the end zone line. So number 28, Miglioretto, with the disc in his hands, gets it up to number 6, Tobias van Barsen, to number 77, David Moser, and to 91, Dennis Holz. Some nice movement, but a pick called, which might explain why that guy was so wide open, number 6, Tobias van Barsen. Dennis Holz marked by Nino Afrini. Nino nicknamed Ninja, and a big huck up to the end zone from 28 Miglioretto to 77 Moser. And these free speed handlers are really doing all the work for this team.
Zuschauerinnen, liebe Zuschauer, es freut uns, dass ihr uns hier seid besuchen, dass ihr bei diesem Finalspiel dabei seid. Tut mitfahren, habt Freude an diesem wunderbaren,
player list if you want, so you can talk about each team or how many players you have.
Wir hier zusammen geniessen.
I think it's okay.
Okay, so we do that for the women's side, because that would be the plan, to have it like when the stream starts. That
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
We do it with the women's side.
Yeah, sure. Sounds good. So, Freespeed notably has a non-playing head coach, along with Luca Miglioretto, who's a tactical coach, and another non-playing, he does play, number 11, Gilles Neve, who is the physical conditioning and trainer coach for this Freespeed team. And Fab fields the pull within their end zone, and Freespeed comes down in a zone in a little bit of a cup with one man on the mark. Fab playing it very close within their handlers. And a nice swing through the cup across the field as these Fab handlers look to advance the disc bit by bit, just 1, 2, 3 meters at a time. And notably, it's just been number 29, Stauffer, and Jan Tenger doing most of the work. And a little bit of contact there between Tenger and number 15, Simon Schneider.
Bei der Raum-Untermanndeckung, je nachdem, was man von der Präferenz hat, ob es darum geht, der Scheibenführer
29 Stauffer with the disc, throws it up to Severis, or Domeni, sorry, who gets it to Torre, back to Stauffer, there to Rees. Stauffer with the disc now, breaks the mark to Jan Tenger, who throws it easily up for the goal to Domenic Odermatt.
Okay, und da haben wir den Pascal Sammler rufen, Domeini Odermatt abführt.
So both of these teams are well-established clubs within Switzerland. Fab was founded in 1984 and Freespeed was founded in 1996.
Unzählige Varianten, wirklich. Es ist fast nicht aufzuzählen. Es geht zuerst mal darum, dass man wirklich unterscheidet zwischen Mann- und Raumdeckung. Bei der Manndeckung geht es vor allem darum, wie dass man den Mann am Mark herstellt. Das ist der Spieler, der direkt den Scheibenführer deckt.
Interestingly, both of these teams, when asked to highlight some of their players, who's good to watch on the field, both of these teams said every single player. They're all important and they're all good to watch.
Seems to be proving true so far.
Yeah, it definitely seems to be proving true. Definitely seems to show their confidence in their roster and their ability to win games and move the disc well. Freespeed on offense here. Number 60, Oliver Gauler, to number 28, Miglioretto, who seems to be a mainstay on this O-line. And just a drop there from number 33, Nicolas Busch. Sebastian Glur going to pick up the disc for this Fab D-line. Gets it up the field, swings over to number 47, and who throws it away. Just a little miscommunication there. And Freespeed off to the races again. Ozzy Tenger, number 47, with the big mark, trying to get the disc back after he threw it away. And a big hop goes up from Miglioretto to 77 Moser with, looks like a D from Sebastian Glur, but a lot of contact on that play. No foul called.
Yeah, I think Glur had position on that.
Yeah, it looks like definitely Glur had the position on that and forced Moser to go up early to try to get that disc.
Sie probieren und schauen einfach, was ist möglich. Der Verteidiger hat natürlich schon Erfolg, wenn einfach die Scheibe nicht gefasst werden kann. Er muss sie nur wegschlagen. Der Offender hat sie effektiv müssen zwischen seinen Fingern.
So this Fab D-line offense is going to get another shot to try and get another break. Benjamin Schaub with the disc. Gets it to Seb Glur. And to number 47, Ozzy. Seb Glur looking big, and Ozzy Meyer just gets the reset. Up the field now to number 56, Johannes Suter, who goes big to Benjamin Schaub with the disc floating. Ooh. And it looked like there was a little bit of contact there on the play, but it did look like he misread the disc. And there will be a little bit of discussion.
Tatsache ist, beide haben versucht, der Scheibe möglichst schnell gewesen. Beide sind natürlich auch unter der Scheibe eigentlich während langer Zeit gerannt. Das heisst, haben nicht genau gesehen, was sie
Benji Schaub currently making his case for why there was a foul. Something notable about Frisbee is that there are no referees on the field. So it's up to the players to know the rules and resolve all the disputes themselves.
Der Angreifer zum Fall gebracht oder nicht. Folgende Situationen sind im Prinzip möglich, je nachdem, wie sie sich einig werden oder nicht. Wenn das Foul akzeptiert wird vom verteidigenden Spieler, dann
So usually discussion shouldn't last more than 30 seconds. So we've had the foul's been contested. So the disc will go back to the thrower, and the players will take their positions when the call is made.
Wir haben hier eine Situation von einem contesteten Foul, das heisst, der Foul, der bestritten wird. Was dann passiert, ist einfach fast in allen Situationen im Ultimate genau gleich. Die Scheibe geht zurück.
So the disc will be back in the hands of Johannes Suter, number 56 for Fab.
Die Scheibe geht zurück und jetzt wird weitergespielt. Als hätte gar nie das voll stattgefunden.
Who gets it to
Das
28.
macht es auch erst möglich für das
Mark Mosiman.
weltweit
Back to
ohne
Mosiman.
Schiedsrichter kann gespielt werden. Wer länger in dieser Szene ist und
In the handler set with Sebastian Glur and Christoph Windler going deep with the throw from Glur and the D from
wirklich die Regelwert mit jedem Spieler
number
können
33, Niklas Busch,
ist Verteidigung
making up for his drop earlier in the point.
Hat er können wegschlagen, auch wenn der letzte Scheibenkontakt von einem Basler war, dürfen Basler die Scheiben auflesen und weiterspielen, weil sie sind nicht die waren, die Scheiben abgeworfen haben.
So this wind has really picked up and a timeout called from Freespeed.
Do you want to have a Bratwurst? Because they don't have sandwich.
That's fine. Yeah, that's great.
Er ist Timeout.
No
Wieder
score,
rund
right?
2
No
Minuten
score.
Zeit für beide
No
Teams.
score. Yeah.
Versprechen noch neu umstellen.
We are currently in the handler booth battening down the hatches, trying to make sure our rosters don't blow away in the wind. Everybody's being affected here.
Yeah, I kind of wonder if that timeout was even just tactical to give the wind a chance to die down a little bit. But also maybe to talk about what they're going to do in order to capitalize on. This would be a chance for a break, no?
No,
This is just stay on.
Freespeed offense.
Okay. So it's critical that they deliver.
Yeah, this is a critical point. I think they just wanted to take a timeout to let the wind die down a little bit, but also let their nerves die down a little bit and kind of calm down and just run their offense like they know how to do, rather than kind of throwing it away or making drops. I think with this wind, every turn and every break is going to be pretty critical for the team. So if Fab gets another break here, it would be pretty monumental.
Yeah, we'll see if Fab comes out with a special defense.
Yeah, one thing about timeouts is that you never know how the other team is going to react. So Fab could use this as an opportunity to set a kind of a new zone or do a little new defense that the Freespeed men were not expecting. So it looks like right now they're going in a man-to-man D with Johannes Sutter on the mark and Luca Miglioretto with the disc. And he gets it up to Moser, who gets it to Van Barsen, who goes big to Bush, but a D from Ozzy Meyer. Ozwin Metzger, sorry.
Von Freespeed Basel. Das ist der nächste Turnover. Flying Angels haben wiederum die Möglichkeit, ein Break zu schreiben. Wenn sie das würden bewerkstelligen, hätten wir einen Spielstand von 8:6. 8 bedeutet, wir würden in Pause.
So this
Ihr wisst,
Fab D-line offense getting another chance to set up and get a break. And Seb Glur with the disc in hand resets to Christoph Windler, who gets it back to Glur. And just looked like a hand block, but a foul was called on the play. Unsure of how it's going to be resolved. Discussion between Glur and number 37, Robin Brudelin.
Ob sie beide einverstanden sind, dass es Foul ist oder nicht.
contested foul goes back to Glur, who gets it to Benji Schaub, but a pick was called. And it looks like it was Benji's defender who called the pick. Glur with a break to Ozzy, who goes big to Ioannis Suter. And a good read on the disc from Luca Miglioretto. Number 91, Dennis Hotz with the disc, who gets it up to 77. David Moser. Back to Dennis, who goes big, but just a little bit too much on that disc, and it floats out of bounds. And once again, this Fab D-line offense gets the disc back. It looks like as this point drags out longer and longer, it's becoming more and more important for the outcome of this game. If Fab gets this break, they do take half. Christoph Windler with the disc gets it up the field to Sebastian Glur, who resets it back to Windler. And looks like there was a call on the play, maybe a pick or some contact. Luca Miglioretto with his head down. Looks like he took maybe a shoulder to his jaw or something. He's calling an injury. And that, I gotta say, is a bit of a blow to the Freespeed offense. He is one of their main handlers and one of the best throwers on that team. The disc will come back in on 6. And number 21, Harold Ola, coming in to replace Miglioretto. Or Kaspar Müller, sorry. I misread the roster there. Harold Ola is number 21 on Freespeed. And a big huck to Oswin Metzger, who catches it, but it looks like he was just outside the end zone. Who gives this to Christoph Windler. And resets it to Jan Tenger, who came in on the injury call, subbing for Benjamin Schaub. Sebastian Glur with the disc. Resets to Tenger. Up the field to Ioannis Suter. And currently these Fab handlers are just happy to run the disc between themselves until they find something open upfield. Up to Ozzy Metzger. Back to Glur, Metzger, to Tenger, who swings it to Afrini. Ooh, and looks like there was disc floated a little bit high and allowed the Freespeed defender to come in and make a play. And a call from Christoph Windler, who was on the ground. And it looks like the turn will stand. And another injury, number 33 from Freespeed, Niklas Busch, who had a bit of an up and down point. Hopefully he's okay. Number 94, Jakob Ebbinger, coming in for the injured Freespeed player.
Ein Wechsel von einem Spieler während einem Punkt kann nur dann stattfinden, wenn eine Verletzung ist gerufen worden, ein Injury Call. Dann darf der Spieler, der sich verletzt hat,
and number 14, Severis, coming in for Fab. When one team calls an injury, the other team can make a substitution if they do want. So now there's two offensive line players for Fab on this defensive point, trying to get this critical break. What started out as a normal D-line has now turned into a bit of a power line for Fab, as Severis came in for Christoph Windler. 91, Dennis with the disc, back to 77, Moser, to 60 and to 6, Tobias van Barsen. Van Barsen not afraid to throw it, and he does go upside down over the mark to number 94, Jakob Ebinger. And it looks like a little bit of confusion on what the force was from the Fab defense, as Freespeed gets that offensive hold, which was really important for their spirits and for probably the rest of the game, making it 7-7, and what is a galaxy point. The team that wins this point takes half.
Yeah, it seems like the points are either just clean, so no turns at all, or several turns. No one's been able to really capitalize super quickly off of a mistake like a drop or a D. So we've got number 27, Casper Mueller. Looks like he's about to pull for Freespeed. And Fab's got a power O-line out. They just signaled that they're ready. The wind stopped just in time for the pool. So we're centering it to
Severis with the disc, gets it to 97, Pascal Kallen, who gets it to 26, Lauren Stauffer, who throws an overhead hammer across the field to Sebastian Glur. Glur playing give and go with 17, Torre, and gets it to Jan Tenger on this near side of the field, looking to break the mark, and he does, getting it to Torre. Torre working upfield to Seve, who gets it to Stauffer. Down the field to Pascu. And a lot of tight movement in this handler set. And Stauffer getting a little bit heated, I think calling a foul, saying his defender is pushing him.
I almost thought his defender was calling a pick for running him into the mark, but I'm not
I think
sure.
it definitely could have been either one or both. I mean, they were running really, really close to that mark, trying to just get the disc. But Fab does get it out of that little jam, gets it to Stauffer, and a pick called before the throw. Sending this back to Jan Tenger, number 37. And Stauffer getting open but doesn't get the disc. Jan choosing instead to try to get it to Severis, but it's a little bit of a poached D, and the defender, number 30, Huber Schlumpf Huber, I'm not sure which one is his last name, getting a nice block.
Yeah, but I think Reese is saying he was fouled on the
It looks like there was a foul called, so he will keep the disc, which is lucky for Fab because that was a really great heads-up D.
Häufig wäre es eigentlich ganz einfach, Ein Spieler sagt, er komme sich gefoult vor.
Tanger with the disc, who gets it to Stauffer, who gets an easy continuation throw to Pascal Kalin. And Fab will hold to take half.
Berührt oder irgendwie ein Foul begangen, die andere ist nein, ich bin nicht einverstanden und die Scheibe geht zurück und er wird weitergespielt, als hätte es das Foul nicht gegeben.
So as the players take halftime, we will also take a short break to eat and drink a little something.
Wir sind froh, momentan läuft es relativ schnell und gut. Es ist ein schönes Finalspiel, das wir hier sehen können. Die Berner sind jetzt in die Pause gegangen, 8:7. Sie versammeln sich gerade. Die Basler sind Energie holen, sie tun sich gut zucheeren. Liebes Publikum, es freut uns, euch hier dürfen zu haben. Zur Swiss Ultimate Association freut sich, euch hier das Finale in der Men's Division zu präsentieren. Nachdem das hier der Schweizer Meister 2018 ist ausgespielt worden, wird es nachher gerade Schlag auf Schlag gehen. 4 starten wir zum Finale von den Frauen. Und dort wird ein heißer, spannender Match erwartet. Wir werden ebenfalls kurz vor der 4 die 2 Teams mit allen Spielerinnen präsentieren und wir freuen uns, wenn ihr als Zuschauer und Zuschauerinnen die nachher genauso mit Hosen am Applaus werden auf das Spielfeld jubeln.
Ja, Mike, und wenn du die Spielerinnen und Spieler ansprichst, die da an der Turnier, an der Finalrunde von der Schweizer Meisterschaft am Wochenende teilgenommen haben, wenn euch mehr interessiert, wenn ihr wissen, wer spielt bei welchem Team, welche Teams gibt es überhaupt, wo kommen sie her und zusätzliche Infos wegholen, geht auf ultimate.ch. Das ist die neue Webseite von der Swiss Ultimate Association mit vielen Informationen und auch noch darauf hinweisen werden wir, dass wir hier einen Livestream haben. Ihr seht, wir haben einen wunderbaren Videoturm aufgebaut, wo das Spiel, sowohl das Herrenfinale wie auch das von den Frauen direkt im Internet übertragen wird. Wenn ihr also Freunde habt, die heute nicht live dabei sein können, weisen Sie doch bitte darauf hin, dass ihr auf dem Facebook-Stream von Swiss Ultimate Association das Spiel live verfolgen könnt.
Merci vielmals, Nico, und auch ganz wichtig für alle, die schon da sind und aber jetzt nachher noch im Nachhinein nochmal möchten eine gewisse Szene, die vielleicht wirklich sehenswert war, nachschauen. Der Livestream, der wird nachher noch auf der Facebook-Seite ebenfalls noch nachträglich zum Streamen anzuschauen sein. Also es freut uns, dass ich das zu euch kann hier wirklich wunderbare digitale Dienstleistung liefern. In den nächsten Tagen könnt ihr nochmal die 2 Finals nachschauen und eure Vorbilder schauen, wie das hier mit dieser Scheibe umgehen, wie das hier Laufwege da auf den Rasen nachher rennen.
I mean,
But I ran out of fun facts really
if you're not really sure, but it's like, it's literally just like, okay, this is happening.
Okay.
Don't worry too much about it. Just like kind of say whatever. I don't know. I'm good at talking, so I ask my friends, like I talk a lot. So.
Also, diese Teile sind gemeinsam. Habt ihr auch noch Wasser, der noch am Tisch? Ich tue vielleicht noch einen füllen.
I think Freespeed's got really nice, like, quick horizontal passes. And Fab is very much like always going back and forth to one sort of hub handler.
Freespeed.
Ja, vielleicht auch wichtig zu erwähnen ist, wie ihr alle gesehen habt, Flying Angels Bern ist mit 18 in die Pause gegangen. Das kann durchaus einen Vorteil darstellen, das Team, das als erstes in der ersten Halbzeit mit Offense kann starten, hat eigentlich über das ganze Spiel gesehen einen kleinen Vorteil. Das heisst, wenn alles in der Reihe bleibt, wie wir sie im Moment haben, mit je einem einzigen Break, dann haben sie einfach den Vorteil in einem allfälligen Universe Point, also das heisst, der Punkt, der über den Ausgang des Spiels entscheidet, mit der Offense zu starten.
It's a tight unit.
Get any tips? I hope you're still the main commentator or something.
Das Informationsspiel geht jetzt ein bisschen weiter. Die beiden Teams haben schon mal gegeneinander gespielt in der Schweizer Meisterschaft in dieser Saison. An der ersten Runde von der Schweizer Meisterschaften Ende Mai haben sich die beiden Teams 15-14 getrennt. Bern hat dann gewonnen. Enger Ausgang von diesem Spiel ist also durchaus auch wieder hier zu erwarten.
Is it just 15 minutes?
Teams machen sich langsam parat.
That's what I was wondering. Like, shouldn't the
Die
half have
zweite
been taken
Halbzeit
earlier
wird
because of
Freespeed Basel
I
mit
think, like,
Offense starten.
the
Das
last
heisst,
2 points
Klein
took like 20 minutes?
das Pull an
I don't think so because there was none at half, so
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they have to be after 50 minutes.
we can ask
Right.
Ari.
And then it's cup 1. So I think it's possible that it was right.
Stressig, aber laut.
Okay.
Ari, it's a time cap. Nee, oder? Meinst du das so? Wenn das Spiel mal fertig ist?
And we're back, or almost back. The teams spent the half times in some wonderful shade tents, hopefully to cool off a little bit before this first pool of the half goes up from Fab.
So ein bisschen Sport. Ja, also ist das wirklich so?
The pool rolls out the back, and Luca's walking it to the front of the end zone.
Ist ja nicht entscheidend. Die Leute hat laufen. Die Musik hört die auf.
So, und da sind wir schon wieder in die zweite Halbzeit gestartet. Es geht Schlag
So
auf Schlag.
Freespeed really content to kind of work it amongst their handlers, even as they get pushed back into their own end zone,
Freespeed-Zonen innen.
taking the
Jetzt kommen sie nach
up
vorne.
line or open undercut only when it's available, working really safely. Number 91 Dennis Hutz with the disc in his hands gets it to 77, who gets it up to Luca Miglioretto, who goes big. A beautiful huck to number 33
Und da haben wir
Nicolas
den
Busch,
Nicolas
who
Busch mit einem
spikes it
schönen Aircatch
very,
zu dem
very
Platz
hard.
drüben. Er ist leicht am Humpeln. Hoffen wir mal, dass er sich
A lot of
die
emotion
Reaktion
on that
hat.
first point out of half.
Aber sehr ein wichtiger Punkt mit der ersten
Oh, he took it down, guarded by 2 Fab players, so I would also be pretty excited about making that catch.
Sehr, sehr wichtig für die Moral, gerade wenn man merkt, dass am Anfang von der Punkt, wie es hier der Fall war, Defense viel Druck hat können machen.
For the men's semifinals, the Flying Angels of Bern had a little Bern derby where they beat the Panthers also of Bern, and Freespeed beat Crazy Dogs in a pretty tight match. I think it was 13-15 or 15-12 maybe. Pretty exciting game. Not quite as close as this one, but still pretty fun to watch.
Yeah, I gotta say, this game has been everything we generally expected from these two teams. Very evenly matched and very intense. And the pull goes up from Freespeed. A big pull that's fielded in the back of the end zone and given to Lawrence Stauffer, who gets it to Seve Rees, who looks off a pretty contested undercut and swings it back to Stauffer. Stall out called. So a stall out is when the player who's marking the player with the disc reaches 10 seconds as they count out loud.
Sobald der Verteidiger innerhalb vom Umfeld von 3 Meter ist, kann anfangen zu zählen. 1, 2, 3.
And it looks like it is a contested stall, which means the disc will come in at stalling 8. And Seve gets off a nice dump to Stauffer to reset the time and immediately goes deep. Fab working the disc on these undercuts from their cutters. Currently, Sebastian Glur has the disc on the far sideline. Looking upfield for a little bit and then immediately looking to reset the disc to one of the handlers. Jan Tenger gets it back to Severis, gets it to Stauffer, who gets it to Domaini, who struggles to find a dump, but eventually gets it back to Tenger, who throws a nice inside break to Seb Glur, but it looks like there was a pick called, so the disc will go back to Tenger. The Fab offense looking to calm down. And try to run their system to punch in this score. Seb Glor gets the disc in the dump space and a pick called. Every cut from both of these teams is very hotly contested, and every disc that goes up, each defender thinks they have a play on it. So all these passes want to be 100%. Stauffer with the disc gets it off, swings it to the middle of the field to Tenger, who throws a big blade to Domenic, who catches it while falling over. Some really safe hands from Domaini Odermatt. And it looks like there was a little bit of a discussion about whether he was in or not. One of the Freespeed players calling in and another one saying he was not in. And it looks like the score will stand, making it 8-9 for Fab.
Freespeed's really trying to bring their team energy back up, trying to pump each other up, get each other excited, get their heads back in the game as they walk back to the line.
Ja, und wenn ich jetzt da so am Spielfeldrand rumschaue, all die vielen Zuschauer sehe ich auch ganz junge Leute und ganz viele Kinder, die da sind. Das freut uns extrem. Ich weiss mittlerweile, dass jeder Club in der ganzen Schweiz ebenfalls
Fab getting ready to pull here.
Jeder Club freut sich extrem, wenn ihr
From
auf ihre Webseite
looks like Mark Mosiman, or rather Torre Harms, with a big pull that's going to be fielded in the back of the end zone by Dennis, who gets it up to Miglioretto. Currently, the Freespeed handlers happy to just swing it amongst themselves. Dennis with a little give and go with number 60, Oliver Gaugler. He gets it back to Miglioretto. Goes a little overhead to Van Barsen. And Dennis back with it, throwing upfield and a closely contested cut. Almost a D by Christoph Windler. And a lot of really hard defense from this Fab D-line. And Freespeed just able to sneak it into the front of the end zone on a really nice swing pass.
Der Punkt wieder sehr schnell auf Robin Brüderli, Nummer 37.
Robin Bruderling with the score, number 37.
Fab's really turned up the volume on their person defense, on the super tight on the cutters, and also on the marking, like very tight, very close, maybe possibly wrapping marks. But I think they'd feel a lot more comfortable if they were able to get another break, so we'll see if it keeps going on.
Und sehr schön zeigen, wie das es möglich ist, dass man Spieler, die noch nicht so lange dabei sind, in der kürzesten Zeit auf ein Top-Niveau bringen, insbesondere natürlich athletisch für die technische Skills.
So Freespeed with the pole, number 27, Kasper Müller, with a big pole that Jan Tenger gets in the back of his end zone. These poles from both teams have been fantastic. Severis with the disc gets it to Sebastian Glur. Swings it to Torre. Back up to Reese on this far sideline, who gets it to Domaini Odermatt, who gets it to Lawrence Stauffer. Stauffer looking to go big for a second there, and has to reset it to Seb Glur with a beautiful handler cut into the open space. And a nice around flick from Stauffer, but a big D from the Freespeed D-line from Ola. Harold Ola, number 21, with a huge layout D on the end zone line, giving Freespeed a chance to break.
Hoffentlich hat Videocam oder der Fotograf genau drauf gehalten, wo der Layout ist gekommen und hat können die Scheibe vorbraschen.
And then a big throw goes up to number 27, Kasper Müller, who manages to keep his feet in bounds and gives a little dish for the score. And looks like there was a little call, a travel call on the huck, so the disc will go all the way back. But really a great job from number 27, Kasper Müller, to keep his feet in bounds and make sure that the disc stayed alive. Number 30, Huber with the disc in his hands. Marked by Torre Harms, number 17 of Fab. And the disc will be checked in and reset to Miglioretto, number 13, Nicolas, Luca's brother. And a nice upfield throw to number 21, Harold Ola, who had that amazing D before. Resetting to Miglioretto, who looks big for a second and then resets it back to Huber. And a drop, just a little bit of a low throw, and a drop from Ola. Lawrence Stauffer going to pick up the disc, trying to call a play. He looks upfield, and then resets it to Jan Tenger, number 37, who gets it up to Torre. And a easy dump swing score from the Fab O-line after what was a very, very difficult point for them. They are able to recover and punch in the goal. I think if they had gone down another break, that would have been kind of a big deal and hard on the mental game that goes along with the physical game.
Yeah, and what an emotional roller coaster for Freespeed as well, thinking they had scored, getting the break that they need if they're going to win, and then having Fab actually end up scoring that point.
Yeah, that's a bit of a tough call, a tough break for Freespeed to have that travel called. Unfortunately, from our perspective, we were not able to see it. Fab with a big pull from Thomas Bariswil, which will bounce and roll into the end zone, fielded by Dennis, who gets it up to Luca Miglioretto. Marked by Johannes Müller. Freespeed currently working it with their cutters, getting it to 77, David Moser, who gets it back to the handler set, and Dennis Hotz with the disc. Moser with a little cheeky blade to an open cutter, who proceeds to just float it nicely into the end zone for number 94, Jakob Ebbinger, which was a clean hold for Freespeed, what they needed to kind of focus their energy and be able to win this game. Freespeed guys right now are really fired up and have a lot of energy as compared to the Fab guys, who a few of them kind of have their heads down, which is not uncommon for them. A lot of them like to play within their mental space and be focused in their own head and in their own game. So I would not be surprised if these Fab players come out and get a quick offensive hold.
Natürlich ganz andere Ausgangslage. Die Clubweltmeisterschaften finden das Jahr in den USA statt. USA, das Heimatland vom Ultimate Freespeed, wo natürlich
and 27 from Fab, Freespeed, Kaspar Müller with a big pull again into the opposing end zone, fielded by Tenger, and immediately worked up the field to Severis and to Seb Glur, who looks upfield for a second before resetting it to Lawrence Stauffer, who gets it to Torre Harms. Back to Stauffer, and a big hug to Pascu Kaln. And that's just what Fab needed. A clean offensive hold, no turns, and working within their system and within their top players. As the Fab team comes out on the field for a bit of a huddle, and the score being 11-10 for Fab. Fab defense having a bit of a powwow before the point, trying to figure out who they're gonna call and what they're gonna set. And it looks like they're calling a pretty big line for them. They want to put a lot of pressure on this Freespeed offense right now. Freespeed, on the other hand, calm and cool on their end zone line, bunched together, having a quick discussion before the pull goes up. And Seb Glur with a big pull from Fab, with the disc going out of bounds, which is a little bit unfortunate, as Freespeed will be able to take it at the brick. Luca Miglioretto with the disc in hand, going up to the brick mark, to be marked by Johannes Suter, number 56 from Fab. Immediately getting it to 77, David Moser, And resetting to Dennis Holtz, marked by Christoph Windler, to 77 Moser, marked by Mark Mosimann, up to 37 Robin Bruderlin, who gives it to Van Barsen, who hucks it deep, and looks like a big layout for the score from Freespeed. What number? From Jacob Ebinger for the score, with the assist coming from number 6, Tobias van Barsen. It looked for a second like that throw was going to float up just a little bit too long for the receivers, but Eberlin able to handle the disc and come down with it nicely. And Freespeed calls the timeout.
Und ein Team mit dem nächsten Punkt in Führung kann gehen, ist das Spiel noch nicht fertig. Und das andere Team hat noch die Möglichkeit, das Spiel zu kehren und zu gewinnen.
Und jetzt zu allem Suchen. Freespeed Basel nimmt ein Timeout, das heisst 2 Minuten werden verstreichen innerhalb von der offiziellen Zeit.
So Freespeed with a lot of energy in their timeout, a lot of clapping, and Fab is being calm and working their own system and trying to figure out how they're going to respond to this test. Score is currently 11-11. With 84 minutes played of the game.
Wir haben einen Score, ausgeglichener könnte es nicht sein. Schnapszahl ahoi, 11-11. Kommt, fanet eure Teams an, fanet eure Spieler an. Jetzt geht es richtig um die Wurst. Jetzt geht es um die letzten Punkte. Wer holt den Titel zu sich?
The German commentators here at the fields are trying to rile up the crowds, get them to cheer for their teams since it's such a tight game. So maybe you at home can also be jumping up and down on your sofas, yelling for Frab or Freespeed. Let us know who you're cheering for in the comments.
Jeder Punkt zählt jetzt doppelt so viel, könnte man fast sagen. Natürlich nicht auf dem Scoreboard, aber für die Moral. Die verbleibenden Minuten werden beide Teams versuchen, alles reinzugehen, ihre besten Kräfte zu forcieren und möglichst harte Defense und eine saubere Offense zu spielen. Wir sind gespannt, wie es weitergeht.
A big pull goes up again from Kasper Müller, fielded by Tanger in the back of the end zone, who gives it to Stauffer, who hucks it deep to Severis, but that was just a laser. A little bit low, and the Freespeed defense with an opportunity to break here, and a big D from Sebastian Glur, but it looked like there was a foul called from number 37 Robin Bruderlin, who has been a key player for Freespeed this whole game. Both players discussing and making their arguments. And it looks like it will be a bit of a contested foul in all likelihood. It doesn't look like either one of them is.
Okay. Yeah, that's also what we think.
I tell you, they give a sign.
Oh, yeah. Okay. They have a signal. Good.
But that's not official. But But I have an official sign from over there. I tell you, okay?
So it will be a contested foul, and the disc will go back to the thrower, number 27, Kasper Müller, who resets it. And Freespeed just working the disc right now with their handler setting a big throw from Miglioretto, but will be D'd by Ozzy Metzger. Oswin Metzger, a stalwart on this defensive line for Fab. Now playing offense, actually. And a nice save from Domeni. with the low disc. And it looks like there was a pick called on the play. The disc will stay with Seve. Resetting the disc to Ozzy Metzger, who gets it up to Torre. And a lot of contact between Brudeling and Stauffer. And a bit of a discussion here between Stauffer and Brudeling. Torre Harms with the disc in hand. And it looks like the disc will come in at stall 0. Gets it up the field to Seb Glur, who gets it to Ozzy Metzger on this close sideline, trying to reset it into the middle of the field, and he does to Glur. Swing it to the far sideline to Metzger, then Stauffer. And a contact between Seb Glur and his defender, causing him to fall over, number 21, Harold Ola. Foul called on the mark, uncontested. The disc will come in on 0. A violation on the play, which means that the offensive player started moving before the disc was checked in, as Stauffer resets it to Tenger. And they're going to try to punch this in right here, a key hold for Fab men. And a pick call downfield, as the disc will stay with Torre Harms. Looks like a brief discussion between Miglioretto and Harms about where the disc will go, and it goes back to Jan Tenger. Number 13, Nicola Miglioretto on the mark. Tenger swings the disc across the field to Seb Glur, who has a nice inside throw to Stauffer, really knocking on the door of this end zone. Gives it to Ozzy Metzger. And a nice piece of footwork from Domenio Odermatt to get the hold for Fab.
Und gleichzeitig bekommen wir von der technischen Kommission die Information: Time is over. Time is over. Achtung, Cap 1, Spiel auf 13.
So time ran out during that point, so it's a Cap 1 situation, so the game is to 13 points. With Fab up 12 to 11 and Freespeed receiving.
12 punten, invallen, invallen nummer noch 1 punt. Freespeed Basel hat 11 punten. Freespeed Basel hat jetzt den Vorteil, sie dürfen die Scheibe in der Offense empfangen und nachher ihren Angriff machen.
Genau, für Basel wird es jetzt extrem wichtig sein, der Punkt, die Offense super zu schreiben.
So it is game point for Fab, and Basel needs to score the next 2 if they want to win.
Wir werden sehen, wie gut sie sich schlagen. Es wird auf jeden Fall noch sehr, sehr spannend, das vor der Glocke sprechen.
The players are currently clarifying whether or not they still have timeouts, and the verdict is yes, they do. Which gives them a little bit of a chance to reset the pressure if they need to.
And Thomas Bariswil getting ready to pull for Fab. And a big blading pull that's going to roll into the end zone. Freespeed feels it and gets it up to Luca Miglioretto. Gets it to number 77, Moser, who looks downfield for a second before resetting it to Miglioretto, who swings it to Van Barsen. And a turn from the Freespeed offense, just a miscue and a bit of a miscommunication between the handlers there. Badiswil will go to pick up the disc. Badiswil gets the disc to Mosiman, who gets it up to Afrini. And a bit of very physical defense from Freespeed. And the disc currently in the hands of Johannes Suter, but a bit of a throwaway or drop between Suter and Windler, giving Freespeed a chance again with the disc. Number 6, Van Barsen with the disc, throwing up to David Moser, who goes big to number 33, Nicolas Busch. Freespeed forcing a universe point. And they are really, really fired up on that Freespeed line right now. The Fab guys already getting set with their offensive line on the end zone. And it looks like it will be a pretty standard offensive line for Fab, with Odermatt, Stauffer, Tenger, and there's a timeout called, so we won't get to see the rest of that line. So universe point is sudden death. Either team can score and win this game. It's what people play for. It's the pinnacle of the sport. It's the most pressure that you'll feel in a game, and both of these teams are going to relish it, and they both thrive under it. So this should be a big battle. And a great point, a great way to finish off this very intense game. So on the offensive line for Fab, we have Dominic Odermatt, Jan Tenger, Seb Glor, Severis, Ozzy Metzger, and Tore Harms, along with Lauren Stauffer. And Freespeed coming out with a standard D-line, it looks like, with number 77 Moser, Brudelin, Nicolas Miglioretto, Van Barsen, Mueller with the pull, and Universe Point has started another great pull from Mueller. And Stauffer with the disc, playing it safe on an in-cut to Severis. Resetting it to Luru Stauffer, who swings it, to Jan Tenger, and a pick called in the stack. Tenger with the disc. And it is live to Ozzy Metzger, who gets it to Tore Harms, looking to swing the disc off the line, and a nice little inside to Stauffer to reset the disc and reset the positioning for Fab. Another pick called in the stack for these Fab cutters and free speed defenders. And a reset to Torrey Harms, who swings it to Tenger and overshoots it a little bit and is saved with a huge layout from Sebastian Glur. And looks like there was a foul call on the mark by Seb Glur. Seb being marked by number 77, David Moser. And Sebi having a hard time finding his reset, and eventually gets it to Stauffer. And the disc will be sent back to Glur and come in on 6. And a drop from Stauffer. And this is Freespeed's time. Freespeed with the disc, moving it with their handlers, giving it to Van Barsen, who's marked by Torre Harms. And a call downfield.
I think there was maybe not a call, but they thought there was a call. It's a little unclear what's happening, but they're going to restart.
The cutters and defenders will reset their position on the field as this gets checked in and given to Moser, marked by Glur, and swung to Van Barsen. And another turn from the Freespeed, giving the disc back to Fab. And Stauffer with the disc, who gets it to Harms. Looking to reset, looking to swing the disc across the field, and gets it up to Stauffer, who swings it and pops up a little bit. And Severis comes down with the disc. And Freespeed is calling him out. And what will be a critical discussion. I'm not sure if it's calling him out on the sideline or out in the end zone, but it looks like from our perspective they're calling him out from the sideline. And it looks like the disc is going back to Stauffer. So it's a contested out call, with Seven maintaining that he was in, while some of the Freespeed players calling him out of bounds. And the disc is checked in, Stauffer with it, looking to reset to Tenger. And a foot block from Nicolas Miglioretto, who immediately goes big to Bruderlin, and just a little bit too far to a wide open deep cut from Robin Bruderlin. And this is exactly what the crowd has been hoping for, with everybody on their feet on the sidelines and getting really fired up. Stauffer with the disc on his own end zone line calls a timeout. And this is a crucial timeout and reset for both of these Fab and Freespeed lines who want to kind of take a moment to breathe and reset their mental space as they fight for this Swiss championship.
Das bedeutet, das ist das letzte Timeout von diesem Spiel. Aber jetzt geht es weiter und der nächste Punkt entscheidet über die Schweizer Meisterschaft.
So just a reminder to all our viewers, immediately after this game, we do have the women's final between Zuf and Fab Ladies, Fabulous.
Ja, Luku. Schon so viel gespielt, schon so viele Ideen sind gekommen. Was kann man denn jetzt noch machen? Es ist die zwei Teams. Hast du noch eine Idee? Was bedeutet das denn noch, wenn wir durch
Es geht eben wahnsinnig viel, gleichzeitig gar nicht durchkommt. Für die Defense ist völlig klar, man will das gegenseitig nochmal pushen. Man will abmachen, wie man genau spielt. Jeder muss genau die gleiche Defense anwenden. Und für die Offense ist klar, man probiert das Spiel zu.
Both teams coming out of their huddles, looking to bring everything they have.
Spielt letztendlich wer gleich eine Rolle, was man da gesagt hat, es geht also nur um den Kopf. Wer hat die besseren Nerven, wer kann den Punkt zuerst schreiben?
Stauffer has the disc in his hands on his own end zone line, looking to go the whole length of the field against the wind, yeah. And the disc is checked in. All of the Fab cutters going deep. And Stauffer gets the disc to Ozzy Metzger, number 47, who gets it to Seb Glur, who goes big upwind to Dominique Odermatt, and the disc will not come back in bounds, having gone out of bounds just at about midfield. Odermatt calls an injury and is stretching on the field. Unclear. He will request a substitution. And the Miglioretto brothers swapping out as well. Luca coming in for Nicola.
Relativ früh aus dem Feld rausgegangen und bis am Schluss, dort wo sie ist gelandet, nicht wieder zurück ins Feld hineingekommen. Das bedeutet,
and Severis coming in for Domaini, looks like. Or, no, rather, Thomas Bariswil coming in for Domaini. And Johannes Suter finally is the player that comes in for Fab. It was a little bit unclear there who was going to be on the field. And the disc is coming in around half field.
Zu dieser Stelle zurück, weil sie ist aus dem Feld rausgeworfen worden. An dieser Stelle hat Basel mit der Nummer 1.
Luca Miglioretto with the disc, marked by Suter, throws a hammer across the field to number 60, who resets it, and Freespeed has won. Punching the disc in on their own end zone line. I didn't even see who scored the point. And the Freespeed men are ecstatic right now. What a game from both of these teams, with Freespeed being your men's champions in Switzerland. And the Fab men look pretty heartbroken but they know that they have to move on, and they'll be back here next year, and they have the World Championships coming up later this year, so their focus will quickly move to Worlds and then later to the European Championship.
Please stay tuned for the women's finals. It's surely going to be much more exciting than Spain versus Russia in the World Cup, or maybe you can do split screen. But Suf and Fab have a long rivalry, and it should be a great match. I've been Caroline Saul.
I've been Jake Simon.
And we'll see you again next year.
Good?
That's great.
Freespeed Basel 2018, Freespeed Schweizer Meister. Wie hört sich das an? Dafür haben sie hart gearbeitet, dafür haben sie bis zum letzten Moment gekämpft und haben den Sieg können zu sich heimholen.
Just like the middle of the field and then go to the right.
Any I think this is over, right?
Yeah, this is over.
Something I have to know? No, you're
just talk.
Yeah, you're just
Just
talking.
talk.
That's fine. Haben wir die Informationen für Frauenfinale gedruckt oder nicht?
Ich glaube schon. Ich muss schauen.
Gut, merci.
Liebe Zuschauer, ihr seht jetzt auf der Seite draussen die Teams.